Hey, real quick, I want to tell you something. Come closer. See that subscribe button down below? Go ahead and click it now because it sure helps me out a lot. Thank you. I'll see you in a minute. Hi everybody, welcome back to A Girl, Her Dog, and RV. I'm Lainie and I have a new hat. That reminds me to tell you that I am going back to Alaska to see my daughter for her birthday, so I'm very excited about that. And I know I'll be hiking, so I'll post some great pictures. In the meantime, I know that you're not here for that. You're here to talk about the 7 different categories of my favorite 32 apps. Stay tuned. Oh guys, it's really cold. I'm in Oklahoma and I don't have a car, so I'm having to walk everywhere. I've got a job at the middle school the next couple of days or the next week or so, so I've just been walking and it's not bad until the wind blows and now it's freezing rain. Whew. Well, people always ask me what I do when I substitute, and you know, it's just a variety. Sometimes you are just a glorified babysitter in the classroom, and other times, especially if it's in my field of social studies or English, I am able to actually teach. So here's just some pictures that I took of the kids while I was teaching at different schools, and the silly things that are in some of the classrooms to keep the kids entertained or to use as fidgets. I also saw some kids that I hadn't seen in a long time. Some of them were fellow teachers, children, and some were actually children of my previous students from back in the mid-90s. And as you can see, there's some weird things laying around the classroom, and I was always asking the kids, what are these used for? So if you happen to know what people would use these for in a science classroom, why don't you go ahead and leave your comments below. I am well loved as a substitute and a teacher, but here are just some cute things that the kids had made me. I did get into a little bit of trouble from the school district because I posted this picture on Facebook. That's a whole nother story. But I did get to celebrate my daughter's 21st birthday this same weekend, and of course continuing to work on the blogs and the videos. Last day at work for this week. I am taking some time to go to a very small town in Oklahoma near Ponca City, and I'm going to be working for or with my cousins on some scrapbooks. Riley was sure intrigued by these other 4-legged animals. As you can see, he was just jumping around. He wasn't sure what to think. But when all was said and done and he finally settled down, he took a great picture. On the very last day of school before the holidays began, one of my good friends called me and asked if I'd substitute at an elementary school because I really don't like it, so she knew she was asking a lot. And when I showed up, the high school drummers were there, and I told her, I said, you did this just for me. So excited that I would come down to the elementary area. But not so. They were just practicing, and let me tell you, these elementary kids loved it. Well, so did this old-time teacher as well. I'll give you a few seconds to enjoy the band. Later on, you'll see they actually came into the school as they were exiting, and it was really hard to get the kids back under control. But luckily, I was just the librarian, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Now that school's over for the winter season, I'm headed to my daughter's driveway. Here you can see Sophie parked at her house, and my 2 daughters are on the porch, looking like they're wondering where Cousin Eddie is. Well, it's that time to discuss the top 32 travel apps that I have and I use. I know it might be kind of hard to see in these photos, so at the very end, I'll give you a complete listing. I'm not going to go into full detail on each and every app because some of them might not apply to you. Under lodging apps, Hostel World is a free place to stay. There's not too many in the US, you'll find more overseas. My Passport and Harvest Host both cost money to join, but you'll pay for it within the first 1 or 2 uses. Boondocking and RV parking is not something I use very often, but if I can't find something on the All Stays app, I will use one of those. In my opinion, the All Stays Camp and RV app is probably the most used and best app I have. However, it does cost about $10.99 for the year. Camp&rv is another very popular one, and something that's a little bit different is called couch surfing. I've been using couch surfing for several years, and you do have to go on and become a member and make up a profile, but I have met some wonderful people this way and have stayed in some really great places, all for free. And you'd probably only use this app if you weren't able to stay in your RV, for some reason you were having warranty work done. There are some other websites that do not have apps that I think are also worthy of mentioning, and that would be camp.net and also Boondockers Welcome. Boondockers Welcome is just a place for you to park for maybe 1 or 2 nights in somebody's driveway, but you have to either pay for that or you have to be able to host in order to use those benefits. Okay, let's talk about on-the-road apps. There's also some general ones thrown in here that I like. I use Pilot. I am a registered user there for gasoline for my car, but also for the diesel. And when you purchase diesel through Pilot, you get 5 cents off, plus you get points for showers, and so many points, you get so many showers. With the gasoline, you only get 3 cents off, and no points go towards your shower. I have the membership for Loves, but I haven't registered it yet. You know, sometimes you're just out on the road and you're not sure where to get gas, so Gas Buddy is another great one to use. You'll also find Uber on here because if I am in my RV, I drive a Class C and I do not have a toad, so if I wanted to go somewhere, I would have to call a driver, and I've just never used Lyft. I just haven't had any problems with Uber, so that's primarily what I use. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see NOAA weather. I like that because it gives me a great picture of the radar. Waze is another one just for a map system because I think everyone uses the Apple or the Google or the Waze, and I prefer Waze. The 2 other apps you'll see on here are Planes Live, and I really like that because I'm just nosy and I like to know what planes are above me, or if I see something in the sky, I just am curious. And the other one is Quake Feed. This came in handy when the big earthquake happened in Alaska. As you know, I have family that lives in Alaska, but I also have family that lives in Oklahoma, and they also have a lot of earthquakes there, so I just feel the need to have this information handy. So I believe Venmo and Cash App are the most widely used apps for transferring money between people, at least for me, and I do it quite often while out on the road. This Acorn app is quite interesting. If you spend $5.99, it'll round up to $6, the next whole number, and it puts 1 penny into your savings account. If you spent $5.01, it would round it up to the next whole number, and you would put 99 cents into a savings account. It's a neat little app. The other app is called Spending, and it just helps me keep track of the money that I'm spending on different things, and it has several different categories, and you can even put in your own categories. In regards to work apps, I put in here things that I use in my YouTube channel business and blogging, but also things that I do on the side, including WAG, it's dog walking, Shipped, which is grocery shopping and delivery, and then for my blogging and YouTube channel, I use Photoshop Express, the Instaframe, and the iMovie. And you'll see Northern Lights on there. I just think that's a really cool app for capturing Northern Lights while I'm in Alaska. You can see that the Shipped app is still on here. It's a great way to buy your groceries, especially if you're out and about and don't have time or your schedule doesn't allow. And then, of course, to sell my items when I was trying to downsize, I was using Let Go and OfferUp. And I have Amazon Prime, which allows me to have packages shipped anywhere in the US, the lower 48, at no shipping cost. Well, my favorite food and drink apps include Starbucks, even though I'm not a coffee drinker. As a flight attendant, people, well, as a teacher too, they used to give me gift certificates to Starbucks, and I would put that money on my app. And that way, if I wasn't able to make my tea in the morning or had a really late night, I was able to stop by Starbucks and get exactly what I want. And these last two apps have to deal with breweries. Untapped is sort of like a Facebook for the types of beers that you enjoy and that you're trying, and other people can cheer you along or at least try the different beers. With the Pint Pass, I really haven't used it too much, but when you go into a brewery and you check in, you get so many points, and after so many points, you get free beers. Worth a try. Well, there you have it, my 32 best traveling apps. Let's look at those again. Lodging, on the road and driving, finance apps, work apps, shopping apps, and last but not least, our two categories is food and drink app. I'm sure there are a lot other apps out there that are worthy of my time and yours. So if you have some that you'd like to share with us, please leave them below in the comment section. Whew, I know that seemed like a lot of apps, but seriously, I use all of them. So glad you guys stopped by. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit that like button. That sure helps me out. And in the meantime, love, Lainie.